Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are having a great day so far. So today I'm going to be stealing an idea from the wonderful Lauren May Beauty. I've just discovered Lauren's channel fairly recently in the last few months, and I saw that she does this series on her channel where she talks about products that she isn't surprised ended up on sale. So I thought that was a really fun video idea, and given that there are just sales like coming out of our ears at the moment, I thought that I would have a look at a few of these sales and give you my thoughts and opinions on why I think these products ended up vastly reduced and just chat it through because it sounded like fun to me. So first up, the Hourglass Sculpture collection. No particular product, but this entire collection is vastly reduced, like almost half price in certain places, or it certainly was at various points throughout the end of last year when sales were really phenomenal. Now, at the moment, it's still reduced in lots of places. In fact, pretty much everywhere. Definitely don't pay full price for any products from this collection because there would be ridiculous. But the reason for me that I think that this is on sale, obviously, by the way, this isn't factual. This isn't the facts. People are going to disagree. That's fine. This is just my opinion, my best guess, my thoughts on why. So for me, I feel like this collection is probably on sale because people are bored of the same thing every year. It appeals to the same market, the light to medium skin tone that Hourglass keeps on making these palettes targeted towards. We've all already got these palettes, you know, we've seen them, and they're very, very samey at this point. They're getting lazier and lazier with it. You know, at some point they had the whole palette was like new limited shades within the palette. Now it's like almost the entire palette is a repeat, or it's full of repeat shades or permanent shades or shades that were in last year's palette, and it's still catering to the same one range as far as skin tone. So I feel like we've all got at least 1, 2, maybe even 3 of these palettes now. And why would we need another that's essentially the same thing? So that's why I feel like, I mean, these used to sell out a few years back. These holiday palettes from Hourglass, like they were like gold dust. They were flying off the shelves. And to see it now, you know, in January, vastly reduced, filling up shelves everywhere is a little sad. And I feel like that is why. And it's their own fault. They've no one to blame but themselves. If they were making 2 palettes like we've been asking for, one for light to medium, one for tan to deep skin tones, and they were putting new shades in there that we didn't all already own, I don't think this would be happening. Food for thought. Next up, the Pat McGrath, I mean the entire site, but specifically her holiday collection, because that was, you know, a huge collection. First ever powder highlight from the brand that we've been screaming out for. And, you know, her first large, more affordable eyeshadow palette in Celestial Divinity. So many exciting, amazing releases, and it's hanging around. Nothing's sold out, and it's now huge amounts of money off. But to me, I feel like I'm just going to lump this all in together as to why I think Pat McGrath's been having like more and more sales, and they've been lasting for longer and longer and longer. If you notice, this sale's been going on for like 2-3 months now at this point. You know, her lipsticks got down to like a quarter of the price at one point. It's huge reductions for a very long time, and they're happening very frequently at this point. So here's my 10 cents. You guys know how I feel about Pat McGrath and the customer service on that website. To me, I mean, I get emails or DMs from people regularly telling me, oh my God, I had such a great experience. They've really turned things around. And I feel like every time I start to feel that way, I have a really bad experience. Again, I don't think that they've turned anything around. I think we're just occasionally getting lucky, and it's still happening frequently. For every message that I get from someone saying, oh my God, I got my Pat McGrath order in 3 days, it's a miracle, which should we be celebrating that when that's very, very standard for every other brand? Probably not. But here we are. And I think it's really just at this point, it's so sad and frustrating. So my last experience was that I ordered a big haul from their sale, and after 10 days messaged them because it hadn't been dispatched yet and said, I'm going to dispatch that anytime soon. And they replied saying, oh, it's all out of stock, so we've cancelled your order and here's your refund. And I'm just like, I just wonder, for curiosity's sake, if I hadn't have messaged them, what would have happened there? Would I have just carried on waiting forever for my package to not arrive, or what? Were they ever going to tell me? Who knows? We'll never know. But this is why I feel like that site is constantly at the moment reduced. Everything is going on sale and they're just discounting everything left, right and centre for a long time, over and over again. Pat McGrath has one of the, if not the best products on the market, the best quality, the most amazing shadows, the most amazing lipsticks. I love her foundation. I love her highlight. I love her products, but it has the, by some way, worst customer experience that I have ever experienced anywhere by a huge margin. These things do not happen to me anywhere else, and when it's such a high price, that is not the experience that you expect to get. And I just feel like now what's happening is no one's shopping her website anymore. If it's an option to get Pat McGrath from Sephora, why on earth wouldn't you? It's going to be far smoother, far easier. You're going to get your products far quicker. And here we have Selfridges and Net-a-Porter, both stock Pat McGrath. So again, if the products we want are available there, we are going to get it from those places because it's so much better of an experience and it's so much easier and so much quicker to get our products. So that's why I feel like her website is reducing everything and everything is constantly on sale. And I know that Pat McGrath has been reduced as well in those other places, but it's kind of now like, she's put all her prices of lipsticks down to £12. So Selfridges is probably struggling to sell theirs at 36 still. That's the kind of knock on, I guess. But yeah, it's really sad. And honestly, so many people say to me, I'll never shop there again. I'll never get anything from Pat McGrath again. And I would love to never have to shop there again. I would love that. But having my channel, sometimes stuff doesn't come to Selfridges. Quite often, Risque Rosé never came to Selfridges. My only option was to get it from her website. And again, when she has these huge reductions in price as well, to buy it for £36 from Selfridges when you can get it for £12 on her website, that's crazy when you're just going to have to wait a couple of weeks for it to come, or it just never is going to. So, it's fun to see what's going to turn up and what isn't, kind of. No, it's not. We hate it. We hate it here. So that's my thoughts on why Pat McGrath's entire site, pretty much, and certainly her holiday collection, was reduced by so much and was on sale so quickly instead of selling out like everything she launched used to. People are sick of the customer experience, and I'm one of them. Next up, this ABH Riviera palette and also the Alyssa Edwards collab palette that both very quickly ended up in TK Maxx. There was lots of photos, lots of posts around social media that these palettes were spotted in TK Maxx. Crazy reductions. They're also vastly reduced on their website as well throughout the kind of Black Friday, Christmas sales, those kind of sales. I feel like these are the two palettes that kind of flopped the most from the brand in recent times anyway, as far as sales, as far as seeing how, seeing them massively reduced, seeing them in TK Maxx in vast numbers, that kind of gives you an indication that they weren't a huge success for the brand. And I feel like it's the same reason for both these palettes. They're both so out of a lot of people's comfort zones. A lot of ABH palettes, they're very much mass appealing. They're very easy to wear. They're very wearable every day. Every person who's, a basic baby like me. These two palettes, far more colourful, far more intimidating, far more bright, extreme, out there, more just scary for a lot of people like me. Boring, can't work with colour, don't know what I'm doing, not very artistic or creative. I feel like the average person would be too scared of these two palettes. They're just much scarier and more fun and less boring. And I'm boring when it comes to makeup and eyeshadow. I'm afraid of these kind of colours, and I feel like I'm probably not alone, and a lot of people would have just been intimidated by the colour stories, and that's probably why I feel like, anyway, they were the ones that ended up in TK Maxx the quickest. Next up, this By Terry Twinkle highlight. Now, I tried really hard to find a photo of this when it was on sale. So this went on sale a week or so ago. I don't know if it was everywhere, but in the UK for £14. £14. Let that soak in a bit. £14 this was on the By Terry website for during their sale. 14, 1-4, not 40, 1-4. Who'd have thought it? Not me, not I. And you know what? I don't think there's anything wrong with this highlight. I've seen, you know, lots of people who have reviewed it, wear it, use it, and it's a beautiful highlight. It's a lovely highlight. The packaging is glorious. It's beautiful. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think what happened here is the timing issue. I think it was timing. This came out like just after the Pat McGrath launch, the Charlotte Tilbury Superstar, whatever it's called, and the Natasha Denona, where have my words gone? The Natasha Denona I Need a Nude Glow. All of those highlights came out kind of in quick succession. And this one came out like a few weeks after all of those, and around the time when we went back into lockdown. And I just feel like so many people probably picked up all three of those, or one or two of those highlights, or they asked for those for Christmas, and then they picked stuff up in the sale, and then the By Terry one just came along and they're just the worst moment, and people were like highlighted out. That's why I didn't pick it up, because it was just like, I just can't take any more highlighters. My drawer's full right now, okay? And I just was highlighted out, and I feel like that's probably what happened there. It was, you know, people picked up those highlights that came before it and just didn't have any room in their hearts for any more just right now. But I mean, it's sold out. When they put their price down to £14, it's sold out in like a few hours because people went nuts. That is a bargain-aroo. That's what that is. So yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I just literally think it was unfortunate timing, and it was just, you know, a shame. This Laura Mercier cheek palette, the holiday cheek palettes, these went on sale quickly. Given that, you know, it's January, you expect these to sell really, really well. November, December, January, maybe they're sold out, or, you know, there's a few left and they get put 10% off. These are like half price now in some places. And to me, when I saw them, yeah, I was not surprised to see them in the sale reduced. I really was not. I had no surprise. And I think the reason, again, maybe it's just me, but from a lot of reviews I've seen of these, and a lot of things like Will I Buy It's and things, I just don't think these palettes make sense. I just don't think they quite hit the mark. We've got a lot of face palettes now. And so when you bring out a face palette, it has to be like exciting. It has to be like, wow, you know, to get you to buy it. It has to be, the packaging has to wow us, like thinking you're competing with that NARS packaging, you know, when you're a face palette. So it has to be glorious packaging. The products inside, you have to want to use them all, not just one or two. You have to want to use the whole thing. Otherwise, it's just, you might as well get an individual highlight. The problem with these palettes, I feel like they just don't quite work cohesively. I feel like the bronzy shade, it's much too shimmery to be a bronzer. And so then it's one where there's, you know, a light shade for fair or light skin, and then there's a deeper highlight that's only really going to work on deeper skin tones, and nobody has all three skin tones. We've only got, you know, we're only one person. So then it's like, well, it's only really going to work for makeup artists who may be using makeup on all different skin tones. Not that many people are able to do that currently, but you see what I mean? And otherwise, if you buy this and you've got fair to medium skin, you can't use one of the shades, or doesn't really work on its own. And if you have deep skin, then the other two shades aren't really going to work for you. So I just feel like the whole palette in itself, it just doesn't really quite work. And sitting in the category of face palettes, it's getting blown out the water as far as like eye appeal and packaging and being drawn to it. It just looks very like meh, you know. Next up, the Tom Ford Lip Sparks. These were vastly reduced, I saw in the Selfridges sale. And again, this struck me as being a very, like, I know why this happened. I feel like I know why this happened, and it's Corona. That's who I blame. I blame this whole lockdown situation, because these are like metallic, sparkly lipsticks, right? And where do you want to wear those to? I mean, these came out just before like Christmas, I think, or around, you know, in December. Perfect for Christmas parties, perfect for New Year's Eve. But who was able to go to a party at Christmas and who is going out on New Year's Eve. So this is what I feel happened here. I feel like these were a victim of the times, another victim of 2020, that no one was going out, no one was going to New Year's parties, no one was going to Christmas parties. So therefore, where were we going to really wear this kind of lip product to? We have nowhere to wear it to, you know? Next up, the ABH foundation. Now, this has been wildly reduced. 4 months in pretty much everywhere that it's been on sale. I've seen it like under the £30 mark. It was 43, I think, when it first launched here, much to my outrage. And now, you know, it's been a good almost half price in lots of places, very frequently, all of the time. It's very rarely and in very few places full price these days. And I am very not surprised. Now, I spoke about this, I think, in my Will I Buy It back in the day, back before this foundation launched, and expressed my utter contempt for the price in the UK. It was priced, I think, either more pounds than dollars or about the same, give or take like £1 or £2. I think it might have even been priced higher in pounds than dollars. But either way, it was at least £10 too much. It was vastly overpriced. I loved this foundation. For a long time, it was like one of my favorite, if not my favorite foundation. For a very long time, I love it. Lots of people love it. It's very, very popular. So to see it really, really reduced a lot all of the time, it's not because people don't like it. It's not because people don't buy it. It's got a great shade range. It's not that. It is wildly overpriced here in the UK, and they made a massive error, I feel like, with the price point. It's priced more expensive than Givenchy's foundations. It's priced the same as Armani Luminous Silk. It's priced higher than Chanel foundations. I mean, it doesn't make sense. That's not the price point where ABH sits. It's not. And obviously they can price stuff whatever they want, but this is where we're going to end up because it's not the price. You know, ABH's market, their bracket, it's generally young people who love a full beat, full glam. That's kind of ABH's aesthetic. And their price point, it's around the MAC level. That's kind of around where their price point usually sits. When you look at their products, that's kind of where stuff is priced. And this foundation was just so much more expensive than the rest of their products and the rest of their kind of competitor brands that I kind of see them competing with, like Too Faced, MAC, maybe Fenty, and all of those brands. Their foundations are like £10 less, if not more than £10 less than the ABH one. It was wildly overpriced. The sale price is actually the price that it should have been launched at, and no one can convince me otherwise. Next up, this Lancome Skin Feels Good tinted moisturiser, I guess it's called. I think they call it something silly like a tinted hydrator or whatever they want to call it. Skin perfector, all these crazy words that essentially mean tinted moisturiser. I love this product. I love it. It's one of my favourite, if not maybe my favourite tinted moisturiser. Love it. Lots of people love it. It's very underrated. That's number one. I feel like not very many people talk about it. Not very many people use it. Certainly not here on YouTube. You don't really hear people talking about it very often. So I think that's maybe one reason why this has ended up on sale everywhere, all of the time. Two, the shades here are so limited and they all seem to be like super warm. Like, I really cannot find a shade in this foundation in the UK shades because we apparently seem to have less. We have like 2 or 3 shades less than the US, and that it's just appalling. Like, I just can't find, I have to really make a shade work with this foundation. There's just so few. So I feel like that's an issue, and I feel that with the combination and not really many people are talking about it, people don't really know about it, and then they might go and see and there's like 3 or 4 shades out for them to look at because they never have all of them in store, and they're just like, well, you know, I'm going to try this one instead that's got plenty and different tones and everything isn't just super warm and there isn't only 3 to choose from. So I think that for me, maybe that's what's going on here. I don't know. I feel like it's an underrated product, but we need at least the full shade range in the UK. If not, they need more shades in this product. In order for it to be more successful, more people need to use it, more people need to talk about it. You need more shades, more optiones. Next up, the Natasha Denona Transfix Matte Concealer. I know you can fight me like for the reasons of the other products. You know, there's going to be different opinions. People are going to disagree. People are going to think of other reasons, or maybe you guys know something I don't as to why this stuff ended up on sale. But I promise you, I factually know the reason why this concealer is on sale, not only on sale, but like half price. It's because it's awful. There you go. It's very simple as that. It's really terrible. It's horrendous. It's the worst concealer I remember using. And that's why it's on sale. We don't want it, take it back. I don't want it, even if it's £1. Don't even want it at £1. Nobody wants it. It's horrible. Next up, and last but not least, the Galant Lingerie de Peau foundation. Again, a classic for so long. Many people's holy grails. It was, you know, a lot of people, it's right up there, right up there. Again, I feel like Galant's like shade range, their undertones, it's just, none of it is quite right. I feel like they struggle with their undertones. I certainly struggle to get good shade in Galant foundations, but this specific foundation, I just think it's lost its way. It's fallen by the wayside. So many foundations, new foundations have come out since this absolute classic banger, you know, arrived on the scene. People have just forgotten about it. I think they've forgotten it's there. I think they need to get some kind of like, it's still a good foundation. It's a beautiful foundation. I find it kind of average now, because foundations for me, the last like year or two, they've just got better and better, and the bar has gone from like here to here, and now it's like you have to turn me into literally Kendall Jenner in order for me to think you're in my top 10 of a foundation. Back in the day when Lingerie de Peau came out, the bar, it wasn't that high. They didn't have a lot of competition, especially not as far as undertones, shade range, things like that. We have really moved on the last few years. So I feel like they need to completely revamp this in order for it to keep selling. We need like more undertones, more shades, more options, and they need to hit us with it. You know, give us some marketing, give us some YouTubers using it, give us some sponsored posts talking about it, because we've forgotten it exists. Or just scrap it and bring out a new one. Those are your options. I feel like that's where we're at. Lingerie de Peau. It's time to go, or it's time to step up to the mark. Maybe like a reformulation or a re-release. I don't know. But yeah, I just think we've forgotten about it. It's got lost. It's at sea, in the sea of foundation. We've all been there. So there you have it. Those are my products that I feel very lacking quelle surprise regarding their inclusion in recent sales. Please let us know why you guys think these things ended up on sale. Why do you think they ended up on sale? What are you not surprised to see on sale? Let us know in the comments down below. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'd love to see you in the next one. Otherwise, take care for now. Bye 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 bye.